Okay, hi. This time the video will be quite short because I just want to learn about the Git workflow. Right, so there are two different workflows. One is called the Gitflow, another is called the TrunkBased Development. So this time being, I'm just going to find out what are these two workflows mean, and why Gitflow is now deprecated, and why people suggest to have this trunk-based workflow. So first of all, let's have a look at this. What is this Gitflow? Right, so based on this article, maybe you can just go through quickly. So the first one will be the best practices, blah blah blah, and then what is Gitflow? Gitflow is a branching model that involves the use of feature branches and multiple primary branches. So it has a number of, the key thing is that it has a number of longer lived branches. So maybe we have one feature and then a group of developers will develop on the same feature branches for a specific feature. So that will be a long-lived branch. In an additive model, then developers will create a feature branch and delay the merging to the main until the feature is complete. So which means that it allows us to hold the commits until the feature is can be tested or can be released. So these long life branches require more collaboration to merge and also have a higher risk of deviating from the trunk branch. So there can be potentially a lot of conflicts because of there are too many commits that are diverged from the current master. So if different teams are working on the same, say, files, then that will cause a lot of issues in resolving the conflicts. So it can be used for projects that have a scheduled release cycle. So doesn't add any new concept, blah blah blah, and then feature branches uses individual branches for preparing, maintaining, and recording releases. So there's no feature branch workflow. Any new concept was what's called as feature branch workflow. Let's have a look. Feature development should take place in the dedicated branch. So it is like encapsulating a feature together. I think it is quite similar to the Gitflow workflow. Seems that there are other there are other workflows that are available as well. But today we are not going to dive in, or I am not going to dive into details of these branches. But it seems quite straightforward. Just like begin a new feature, then we just check out a new branch. Yeah, that's just a concept there. So coming back to the Git workflow. So Git workflow assigns a very specific roles to branches and how they should interact. Okay, getting started. So we can there is a specific tool for Gitflow. You can use this in your project by Gitflow init. Not sure what is this. Okay, so develop and main branches. The main branches have several versions, and then development we have starting from say one major version. You already diverge from the main branch that's keep growing to future versions, and then this feature branch will just keep on moving its own way. So we have develop branch as an integration branch for feature, convenient to tag all the commits in the main branch with a version number. The first step is to complement the default main with a develop branch. Create an empty develop branch locally and push it to the server. Yeah, so Gitflow init. Gitflow init. What is this? Initialize empty repository. Base branch must be created. Branch name for the production releases is main, but next release is develop. How to name your supporting branch prefixes: feature slash release hotfix support and version tag prefix. Okay, I don't understand that, but let's go down to the bottom first. Each feature should reside in its own branch. So we have merge back into a develop. Should never interact directly with main. Okay, so say we have a develop branch for a specific feature, or for integration point. Then from this point of time, there are other features that have been developed. So the feature branches combine with the develop. The Git workflow doesn't stop here. Generally created off to the latest develop branch. Creating a feature branch from develop. Develop is an integration branch, I guess. Is starting from this point of time is already deviated from the our main branch, and then all features have to use or branch out from the develop instead. But what is the benefit for it? Check out a develop, check out a feature branch. Then we use a Gitflow feature, start the feature branch, finishing a feature branch, git merge. So we when we want to merge a certain feature, then we go to develop and merge our feature, and then finish feature branch, Gitflow finish feature branch. So then the feature will then be merged into our develop, and then from this point of time, if you want to do a releases, then we will merge it back into the master. Have enough feature for a release, then we'll merge without a release branch of develop. Creating a branch start the next release cycle, so no features can be added at this point, only bug fixes, documentation generation, and other releases. Okay, so yeah, making release branch is now set forward of branching operations. Check out develop, check out release with a tag. I guess it's not really like important to know the commands, because command we can do it in any way. So hotfix, main hotfix, and then in between, I guess we can also have this hotfix that quickly patch the production releases, and it is short lifespan. After it has been merged into master, it also has to be merged into the develop, and the feature will need to also refer to the you also need to fetch this update from the develop in case if the hotfix is needed. Without the Gitflow extension, with the Gitflow extension, blah blah blah, example, check out. So this is like a summary of a complete example for the feature Gitflow workflow. So we can check out the main. First of all, we have the main branch. Secondly, we have a develop branch, and every develop branch we have a feature branch. When this happens on the feature branch, we can just like after it has been done, we can just merge the feature into a develop, and then we can just merge a develop into a main. So this in a way, now I understand that this is like say we have a production branch, and we have a staging branch, and we have also like feature branches that will keep interacting directly with the staging instead of the production. So that is how the Gitflow workflow works. So let's have a look at the trunk-based development. So why this version control is a common practice among the DevOps team. It's a version control management that a frequent update or to a core trunk or the main branch. So it streamlines the merger integration, so it achieves a CI/CD. So now today most programmer either is a Gitflow or the trunk base, but we want to know like example of trunk base, why it is like we can do like directly interacting with the main branch instead of waiting like a feature to finish, then only we merge into the main. Gitflow is a long-lived feature branch and multiple primary branches. Primary branch line for development of fixes, features, and releases. Separate primary branch lines for development of fixes, features, and releases. Yeah, that's true. We have saw that. TrunkBased is more simplified because it focuses on the main branches of fixes and releases, and it's a required process. So it has to have, in order to use like the TrunkBased, we need to have this continuous integration there to ensure that the build and testing are in place, and there will not cause like any issues when delivering to the production. So next will be finish a new work. They must merge the new code into a main branch. They should not merge until they verify that they can build successfully. So the bottom line is that whenever you want to merge to the main branch, you do not merge until you know that it will not cause any impacts or negative impacts or consequences to the production. So, and the TrunkBased is just reduces the tendencies of having big conflicts with the main. Yeah, and this TrunkBased development model, it is a steady stream of commits into I just streamline this commits that and encourage people to merge as frequent as possible. So continuous code review, because the changes are small, so the review process can be also much easier, where the reviewer do not need to inspect a large area of code changes. So next will be enable a consecutive production code releases, but still I think we will need to have this. I think we will not only need to have production, right? If you only have production, then how about other environments? So we need to look into that also. Refine, optimize. So the best practices, right? Development in small batches. Feature flags. So we have like So feature flag is like we can, if a feature is not completed yet, we can then encourage or not encourage. We will need to put our feature behind a certain flag that is controlled by the environment configuration, so it will not be triggered by user activities or so on until the feature is finished. So comprehensive automated testing, automated testing, test automation is important, again to ensure that, because there are a lot of commits that will be flowing directly into the main, so to ensure that the things are in place, testing and this integration, continuous integration is needed. Asynchronous code review immediately. Yeah, so there is any pull request, then just I think the key thing here is still like speed. We want to make sure that the speed is there. We keep the stream of code review be short lifespan, and review and merge into main as fast as possible. Have 3 or fewer active branches. So yeah, yes, that's true. Merge branches at least once a day. Keep the rhythm. Agile release increment. Reduce number, build fast, and execute immediately. In conclusion, so okay, I think it's just a concept, like a TrunkBased. It promotes, it discourages the say we have like Gitflow. Gitflow encourages like feature branches but trunk-based, it discourages feature branches and want to make things like merge into master into main ASAP, which in a way I think both works well, but trunk-based, it requires like CI/CD in place more than Gitflow does. But for our case, I think what we are practicing is more of like a trunk-based development, because we say for example we have like main for the production releases, and we have dev for the staging releases. So now we want to find out whether this is called, and definitely we have like a bunch of feature A, B, and C for the feature branches. So I think it is but in a way, because we have this staging in the middle, so the feature branch will not directly interact with the production. It seems like a Gitflow, but we want to find out if Trunk has this setup also. Workflow in staging environment. So let's have a look. So relationship between the continuous delivery practices. Yeah, there's nothing here. Man line is extremely effective way. AntiPattern long life feature branches. Okay. Integration, and then we have the auto blah blah blah. Merge into master. Working on long life feature at significantly weeks branch per environment. This is also an anti-pattern, so we are actually doing Gitflow instead of trunk. Like if you have like branch specific for one environment, it's a common anti-pattern like dev, staging, QA, production. We have like feature branches. So this is like when ready, then only we push the production branch. But why is this an anti-pattern that there's no guarantee assembly revision is deployed to the production? Yeah, that's true, because we have like different branches. You may have different hotfixes, patches, etc. So it feels extremely complicated. The anti-pattern is encouraged by many CI tools that do not provide a true deployment pipeline. But how it helps? But if you don't have like environment control, it really sounds like a scary idea. Was built using this practice. Like what is that? Like Chromium, or even Chromium works. Like okay. TBD, okay, trunk-based development, small incremental over big bang changes, hide unfinished functionality with feature toggles, comprehensive automated tasks to give confidence. Yeah, so the key thing is that there is only one branch, but the deployment pipeline is having a different environment variables on the same branch. Okay, that's interesting to know, because we usually have one branch for one environment, but in this case it promotes like one branch only, but it has a different environment variables that enable a certain flag. So the pipeline status will have like, if something is failed, then it will not be deployed to the upcoming branches. So yeah, I think we know this. Okay, so I guess that wraps up the learning for the workflow environment. At the moment, we are still using Gitflow, where we have an anti-pattern for trunk that different branches serving for different purposes, like production or environment or staging environment. So to improve this, and in a way to promote like best practices for that's encouraged now is using Trunk. But Trunk will require the developers to have a better understanding of hiding feature behind branches. No, hiding feature behind flags. And then we'll need to do also continuous integration, such as test build or testing. Yeah. Then only we set up also the deployment or delivery pipeline that allows us to deploy different environments together in one pipeline. That's interesting to know. And I guess it is always good to aim for like the current best practices and to find out more how it can benefit in speeding up the process of development. So I guess that wraps up the learning of the day. Thanks.